Life is so hard and challenging because it was never designed to be easy. From the very moment we are born, we are thrown into a world that demands growth, struggle, adaptation, and resilience. Every step forward requires effort, every lesson comes with discomfort, and every goal achieved carries with it the weight of sacrifice. The path to any level of success, whether in career, relationships, health, or self-mastery, is littered with obstacles that test the depth of our determination and the strength of our will. Nothing worth achieving comes without cost, and that cost is often high. Life pushes us to our limits precisely because those limits are where transformation begins. Growth is not birthed from comfort. It comes from hardship, from pain, from the endless trials that shape us into people capable of carrying the weight of greater responsibility. Think about it. The strongest trees are not grown in sheltered greenhouses but on windswept cliffs, where they are forced to root deeply against storms. In the same way, human beings are shaped by struggle, and life ensures we are given plenty of it. We are tested through loss, rejection, failure, and disappointment, each moment cutting into us, demanding we rise or fall. And the truth is that most people underestimate just how much must be endured to get to a certain level, whether it's financial stability, emotional maturity, or personal greatness, because the journey is long, relentless, and often unforgiving. One of the reasons life feels so challenging is because it constantly confronts us with uncertainty. No matter how carefully we plan, the unexpected happens. We lose jobs, we get sick, people we love leave us, the world shifts in ways we cannot control. Life is not linear. It is chaotic, unpredictable, and full of setbacks. Reaching a certain level in anything means not only moving forward, but also learning how to endure the moments when everything seems to fall apart. It means building the kind of resilience that allows us to stand again after we have been knocked down 100 times. This process is exhausting, but it is also what separates those who remain stuck from those who rise. Every challenge is a gatekeeper to the next level, and only those willing to push through are allowed entry. That is why life feels so demanding. It is constantly asking us, how badly do you want it? How much can you endure? Will you keep going when it would be easier to quit? And the people who reach higher levels are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented, but the ones who said yes to that question over and over again, even when everything inside them screamed to stop. Life is also hard because it demands patience in a world that constantly tempts us with instant gratification. Success, fulfillment, mastery, these things take years, sometimes decades, of consistent effort. Yet everywhere around us, society promotes shortcuts, quick fixes, and overnight success stories. We see people flaunting achievements without showing the years of hidden struggle that built them, and it tricks us into thinking that life should be easier than it is. But behind every successful person is a story of sleepless nights, lonely sacrifices, repeated failures, and relentless persistence. You have to go through seasons where nobody understands what you are doing, where nobody claps for you, where it feels like you are walking alone in the dark. And those seasons stretch you. They test your faith in yourself. They challenge your belief that it's worth it. Life is hard because it forces you to keep going without guarantees. You plant seeds, but you don't know when they will grow, or if they will grow at all. And yet, if you stop watering them, you'll never see the harvest. That constant tension between uncertainty and persistence is one of life's greatest challenges and also one of its greatest teachers. Another reason life is so hard is because growth requires loss. To reach a new level, you often have to let go of old habits, old beliefs, and sometimes even old relationships. This letting go can feel like tearing a piece of your soul away, because it requires walking away from what is comfortable and familiar. But life makes it clear that you cannot carry everything with you to the next stage. If you want strength, you have to give up laziness. If you want success, you may have to give up short-term pleasure. If you want peace, you may have to walk away from people who drain your spirit. Every step upward costs something, and that cost often feels like pain. It is no wonder, then, that life feels so challenging. We are constantly being asked to sacrifice pieces of who we are in order to become who we need to be. The more we resist, the more it hurts, but the more we accept, the more we grow. Life's challenges are also magnified by comparison. In today's world, we are surrounded by images of people who seem to be ahead of us, wealthier, happier, more accomplished, more admired. Social media has created an endless window into the highlight reels of others' lives, making our own struggles feel heavier by contrast. It is hard to accept how much you have to go through to get to a certain level, when it seems like others got there with ease. But what we don't see is the silent battles they fought, the tears they shed, the nights they questioned whether it was worth it. Life is difficult because it hides the struggle and showcases the glory, making us feel alone in our hardships when, in truth, everyone carries burdens behind the scenes. The challenge, then, is not only to endure our journey, but also to resist the lie that others had it easier. Everyone pays a price to climb, even if we don't always see it. Perhaps the most brutal aspect of life is difficulty, is that it doesn't wait until you are ready. Challenges arrive whether you feel prepared or not. Bills don't stop just because you're tired. Responsibilities don't pause just because you're overwhelmed. The world keeps moving, and life demands that you keep up. To reach a certain level in life, you have to learn to act even when you're afraid, to move even when you feel stuck, to keep going even when you're broken. That constant pressure can feel unbearable, but it is also what forges resilience. Diamonds are created under pressure, and so are strong human beings. Without hardship, we would never develop the strength necessary to rise. Life is difficult precisely because it is shaping us, chiseling away at our weaknesses, carving out the version of ourselves that is capable of handling what we once thought impossible. In the end, life is hard and challenging because it demands everything from us: our time, our energy, our patience, our sacrifice, our resilience. It requires us to face pain, loss, and failure countless times before granting us glimpses of success and fulfillment. To reach a certain level in life is to climb a mountain that has no shortcuts, no guarantees, and no mercy for those who stop climbing. But it is also true that every challenge carries within it the seed of transformation. Every hardship endured becomes a stepping stone. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every sacrifice becomes an investment in who we are becoming. Life is so difficult not because it wants to destroy us, but because it wants to prepare us. The road is long, the weight is heavy, the pain is real, but so is the strength we gain, so is the wisdom we collect, and so is the fulfillment of standing at a level we once thought was impossible to reach. Life is hard, yes, but it is in that very difficulty that its meaning, beauty, and reward are found. Life tests you in ways that feel unbearable, because it wants to see whether you're serious about the level you claim you want. Everyone says they want success, freedom, peace, love, or achievement. But only a small number of people are willing to embrace the storms that come with those dreams. The truth is, you cannot separate the dream from the struggle. If you want strength, you must be willing to lift heavy burdens. If you want wisdom, you must be willing to make painful mistakes. If you want peace, you must confront chaos and master it. If you want to climb to a higher level in life, you have to accept that the climb is steep, that the air gets thinner, the higher you go, and that every step will test your lungs, your willpower, and your endurance. Life is hard because the climb is meant to strip away weakness, expose excuses, and force you to find out what you're really made of. Every challenge you face is not there to block you but to build you. And every time you overcome, you rise stronger and more capable of facing the next battle. What makes life even more challenging is the uncertainty that comes with it. You rarely know when the storm will end, when the breakthrough will come, or when the pain will finally pay off. You may work for months, years, or even decades before you see results. And it is in this uncertainty that most people quit, not because they can't make it, but because they cannot endure they cannot handle the silence when no one claps for them, the long nights when their effort feels wasted, or the lonely mornings when they wake up and question why they're still fighting. But this is precisely the test. The ones who reach the level they dream of are not always the smartest, the most talented, or the most connected. You will also discover that as you climb, not everyone will cheer for you. In fact, life is hard because you often lose people along the way. Friends who once stood beside you may drift apart when your path requires a sacrifice they don't understand. Family may discourage you, not out of malice, but out of fear that you might fail. Strangers may mock your efforts because it's easier to criticize than to create. And perhaps most painfully, you may find yourself standing alone at times, carrying dreams that no one else believes in. That loneliness is brutal, but it is also necessary. It forces you to build an inner foundation so strong that external validation becomes optional. If you can learn to keep going without applause, without recognition, and without constant reassurance, then you become unstoppable. because nothing outside of you can break what you've built inside of you. The journey is filled with sacrifices most people don't see. To get to a certain level, you will sacrifice comfort, sleep, leisure, and sometimes relationships. You will sacrifice being understood by those around you, because your vision will look like madness to them. You will sacrifice the illusion of certainty, because progress requires risk. Every sacrifice feels like a small death. And that is why life feels so hard, because parts of you are constantly dying so that newer, stronger parts can emerge. And yet, in this cycle of sacrifice and rebirth, you find your true self. You learn that you are not defined by what you lose, but by what you gain in resilience, discipline, and wisdom. You discover that the pain was not punishment, but preparation. And then there is failure. Failure is perhaps the hardest teacher of all, and life uses it often. You will fail more times than you expect. You will try to stumble. You will give everything you have and still come up short. Failure will humiliate you, strip away your pride, and make you question whether you're cut out for this journey. But hidden within every failure is a lesson more valuable than success itself. Failure teaches humility. Failure teaches adaptation. Failure sharpens your strategy and deepens your hunger. And here is the paradox. The very failures that break your heart are often the ones that equip you to handle success when it finally arrives. Without failure, success would be too heavy to carry because you wouldn't have the strength, wisdom, or gratitude to hold on to it. Failure makes life hard, yes, but it also makes life meaningful, because each fall, followed by a rise, proves to you that you are stronger than you imagined. The road to any worthwhile level in life is not just about endurance. It is also about transformation. The reason you must go through so much is that you cannot stay the same person and reach higher ground. The version of you that exists today is not capable of holding the weight of the future you dream of. That future requires a stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more resilient version of you. So life puts you through trials, not to break you, but to remake you. Every heartbreak forces you to redefine love. Every rejection forces you to refine your skills. Every financial struggle forces you to learn discipline. Every loss forces you to treasure what remains. Every delay forces you to develop patience. And every challenge, no matter how brutal, forces you to grow into the person who can thrive at the level you seek. Life is hard because transformation is painful, but without that pain, you would never evolve.